on this property, my livestock.
The wind is the challenge. We have to get this homestead where we can survive.
We work every second we can trying to help complete strangers. That's who we are. I'm a suicide survivor. I did 2 tours of Iraq. You know, life, you're giving us a chance to thrive out here.
It's emotional.
Homestead Rescue, Sunday, November 19th at 8 on Discovery.
Welcome back to CPR Crestone Podcast Radio, your lifeline to the true news. And boy, do we have a special guest for 1111 today. Today and today only, we have Mr. Drew Bankey on the site here. This man is an author of 2 different books, relatives. 2 different books. One of them is, here we go, Find Your Inner Guru is his last book that he just wrote. And I am perfect, and so are you. Mr. Drew Bankey is also a wartime vet, 2 tours over in Iran, right?
Iraq.
Iran. We all rack it up and ran anyways. But anyways, and you know, and a medicine man that helps out other war vets to be able to overcome their PTSDs. And one man that I can totally say that has no PTSDs, that has gone through the war and come out the other side as a beautiful teacher, a medicine man, and actually a chanupa carrier, a sacred pipe carrier, a sun dancer, a giant person of our world, like a really great inspiration to us all, bro. I mean, Drew Bankey, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about yourself, sir.
Well, for one, thank you, Jeff, man. And, you know, I'm just a mirror for humanity. You know, whatever people see in me is inside them, whether they know it or not, you know, and that much more, you know, and that's what I'm here. My ultimate truth is just to be my truth, in my walk, in my everyday, and treat my every breath as a ceremony, and, you know, understand that everything is sacred. Even this equipment we're speaking through, all this technology and everything is sacred because it was inside someone's mind at one time, and now it's out in the physical. It's manifested in 3D. So that's what I realize. Everything is sacred. So, just carrying those core truths in my everyday has really affected my life, I would say. And, you know, the proof is in the pudding because, you know, you know, miracles are manifesting around me all the time now. So, you know, you don't want to go to a medicine man that, you know, is a half-time person. You know, I realized that, very early on.
A weekend warrior.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and there's a place for that too. There's during your journey, you know, obviously you can't just jump in full time, but, when you do take that step and really start to manifest a church or a sanctuary or whatever, there's a whole lot of lessons, you know, in every day, because you have to mix, you know, finances into it and structure and buying property and expansions like that and travel and everything. So you have to just realize, you have to just soak up all the moments as sacred. So, you know, it's what we're going through right now. Me and my wife's church, Sacred Journeys Within, just amazing. And our own personal life, like being a, you know, show coming out and everything. It's just amazing. So,
yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that show that you're talking about, Home Rescue, right?
Yeah, we were, so it all started out, you know, a few years ago. We lived here in Crestone for a while, and then we found our property down in Blanca and moved down there in 2020. But, you know, Homestead Rescue was a show we would watch, you know, and, just in our, you know, relaxing time, instead, you know, not watching, you know, mainstream media, but this is like a show on Discovery that we found that we enjoyed. And there's my son in that video. At the end, he sees me, so he said he thinks it's funny seeing me on the TV. But,
superstar. So, and on top of that, you have a festival coming up here soon, right?
Yeah, we'll be there next weekend. So this time next week, we'll be in Florida at Zen Awakening Festival. I'm speaking on Sunday at noon on the main stage, speaking about manifestation and, you know, alignment, basically everything I'm talking about now, just, you know, being in the ceremony in your day to day and recognizing the sacred in every breath, and all that, and just kind of giving people a little jump start, or maybe a spark to, ignite their own, enlightening moment, and I pray I think we're one by one, we're having that on a collective scale through near-death experiences or ayahuasca ceremonies or a peyote ceremony or, you get invited to a sweat lodge or, you do a cold plunge. There's 100 different ways to reach that moment. But I think more and more of us, especially here, probably listen to this radio and, if any locals around here in Crusto, I'm preaching to the choir, but, it's an awakening going on across the board, and it's really, gaining speed, A few months ago, back in June, I went to the psychedelic conference up in Denver, and they projected 10,000 people showing up, and over 12,000 people were there. I was there in person, and being there, just the energy felt like this is a prophetic time that we've all been hearing about, whether, no matter what spiritual practice or tribe you're from, like what's happening right now, it's all been talked about, So I guess the question that we have to ask ourselves in this time is, what would it be like to be alive during a prophetic or a biblical time? Well, that it's happening. So this is,
we're totally living in a biblical time.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. Like this,
but it's actually the energy that you put into it is the outcome that you're actually going to get.
I believe it.
Absolutely. Right.
Cause it's your, thou within is thou without, what is within you is going to mirror your outer. So we need to start, that's why you need to balance yourself. The real work, Ram Dass and all the great sages in the time, said the same thing. The real work is your inner work. It's not out there picking up trash and going home and punching the walls.
It's not actually getting baptized and going out there on Monday and tearing it all down and go back to church on Sunday.
Yeah, it's every day. It's every moment, even when no one's watching. It's like, how pure can you be?
So the Native Americans would call that walking the good red road, Changaluta. Is that correct?
Yeah, be one term for it.
Yeah.
Bodhisattva. Like there's this, and I guess when we're talking about stuff like this, we're talking about a vibration. We're talking about a pure vibration. So those pure vibrations tend to have very many different names throughout societies, tribes, regions, but that core frequency is always the same. It goes by many different names. Love. It's the same frequency throughout the whole world. You know what love truly feels like. You know what greed truly feels like. All ends of the spectrum, but that frequency goes by many different names. And source or oneness. That's, and the balance of being human. I think that's what we're working towards right now. And a lot of people need plant medicine to get over that hump, and all of us are dealing with trauma in one way or another from childhood, and it's just
correct.
It's part of our process. So
from birth to childhood to adult life to what the world's put us through already.
Yeah, all of us, every single one of us, no matter what we're doing, even the powers to be are dealing with their own traumas. So
that's right.
It's so you need to find walk that Jesus path. What would Jesus do in a moment? What those little trinkets and stuff they had a few years back that people wear all the time. What would Jesus do? I'm sure a lot of people still do, but that's a good question. Like
he would probably totally sit there and heal the world on a Sabbath and they get hung to a cross on it. Tell you the truth,
maybe.
Well, that's exactly what supposedly happened.
And he would still. The unconditional love would still be present in the middle of the execution, and that's pure faith, because, one of the things I learned from the Sundance, like our physical selves is a very small part of this equation, and you really learn that in the Sundance, and you learn how far your body can go, and your body can go like way more than where your boundaries in your mind are, you know, and then you start to question that, like, how can this help me? And it's, you know, we can, you know,
It's actually Sundance and all these ceremonial Native American ways are actually a way to reset your brain, your immune system, your DNA, all of it, and bring you right back to Mother Earth. And it's really hard on the human's psyche and the heart, and stuff like that. When you're sitting there all alone, no food, no water for 3 days. I mean, for 4 days, 4 nights, and just not eating. So it really brings you down to being humble. And then Drew Bankey has actually been there. I have been there as well. 12 years as a sun dancer myself. And I appreciate all the sun dancers out there keeping that prayer alive. My hat goes off to you, all of you. But it's the medicine on top of it that you get. Like, when you receive medicine in this form, it totally changes yourself molecularly, like down into your frequency, right? And it brings you back into the true path.
Yeah, it's you know, it's I realized, like, through my Sundance years, I was punishing myself, you know, unknowingly, you know, and I danced 3 years, and it was a test for me to not go back for my 4th year. You know, it was just a lot of tests, you know. I had to really go back and, like, relive in my mind those visions that I had that last year sun dancing, what the spirits told me to do, and, like, trust that, you know. Even, like, you know, there's even people, you know, friends saying, you know, you should go back and do your 4th year, finish it off, but the spirits told me not to. And I've been following the Spirit's lead since 2016, from the first time I drank ayahuasca. You know, I drank ayahuasca for the first time in 2016. Matt, you know, PTSD, had a huge suicide attempt in 2014, depression, going through the VA system and all that. And 2016 started coming up, and I knew that I just felt that depression or that suicidal, like, monkey on my back about to bite me again, you know. And about that time, ayahuasca, I'd never even heard of ayahuasca, but ayahuasca seed got planted in, like, a conversation of somehow, I don't remember how exactly it happened, but I started doing a little research on it, because the conversation that was had was, like, it was very helpful for a veteran with PTSD. So I started looking into it, and every other article that I was looking up was how effective ayahuasca was helping with PTSD, veterans healing with it, you know, coming out of it and changing. And I was like, I got to do it. And we started, me and my wife, at the time, Ella was just a girlfriend, and she started looking at places, and found places in Peru, couldn't afford it, you know, price tag $4,000 or $5,000. And I kind of gave up hope, and she was still looking in the background, and ended up finding a place, and booked us. And we lived in Florida at the time, in Southern Florida, and she booked a place, up in Orlando. Soul Quest Church Mother Earth it's a big church now. One of the biggest churches probably in the United States, I would say. But, they do a lot of business. But, we went there and drank ayahuasca for the first time. First ceremony was just hell. It was a bunch of purging in the bathroom, no visions. I didn't puke. It was just a bathroom after bath, you know, back and forth to my mat to the bathroom.
Been there.
Drank 2 cups, you know, and next day at integration, there was like 20 people in integration. Everybody had amazing visions. They got to me, and I was like, well, I shit 15 times, you know, like.
Well, that last ceremony that I did with you, bro, like, I couldn't hold myself. I had to get up, man, but I was just so, like, out of my body, you know. It's like I had to pull that line back in to be able to get my soul back into my body so I can get up and actually use the bathroom. And I'm going to tell you, that last ceremony I did with you was a really deep purge, a really deep cleanse. And I saw some things that I didn't really want to see, but needed to be seen, right?
Yeah.
You feel me? Right?
That's always it, huh?
It is, you know, and then there's those times that we take our medicine and, you know, and some people are like, I can't believe you do that. You self-inflicted yourself to throw up and, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You don't always throw up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, sometimes you cry. Sometimes you laugh. Sometimes you sing so much that that's the healing medicine that you needed. And not only that, but everybody else and maybe even the world.
I haven't had a bit of uncomfortableness in ceremonies in a few years. And I think it all goes back to mindset. I mean, the medicine is not in control. You know, it just allows us to be more in control, more aware.
It opens doors for you to be able to feel yourself.
For sure.
To be able to see what the trueness is within yourself. Because there's only one way we're going to fix this whole problem within this world is to be able to fix ourselves. And it starts with us before we go out, right? And that's bringing me back to I Am Perfect and So Are You. Get Drew Bankey's book there. Go to Amazon and go to and look for I Am Perfect and So Are You. And don't forget about Find Your Inner Guru.
Yeah, check them both out. You know, they're both good ones. The first one's, you know, there's a lot of ceremonies, and some of the ceremonies happen right here in Crestone. You know, the Uweepee ceremonies was one of the chapters. You know, and you know, there's a lot of my experiences about you know, the first I think 8 chapters is about pretty much my experiences and what kind of basically cracked my head open to where I couldn't put it back together again. You know,
Humpty Dumpty.
You know, and you know, when these ceremonies really shifted from something I was doing to something I am, you know, and that's kind of what the first book's about. So, and I'm Perfect and So Are You, just speaking about the definitive nature of creation. You know, this every breath, every moment is perfect. And if you're experiencing something other than that, you need to shift your perspective, you know, because it's not the moment, it's you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because every moment in life, we have a chance to just stop and turn and go off of that negative way.
Yeah.
How many of us do that out there, relatives? That's a question. Answer below. Leave a comment, please.
Yeah. I take it a step further. How many people has been in ceremony and they come out and that first 15 minutes, they're like, oh my God, like everything that I did led me to this moment. So it's all perfect. Like everything is perfect. And then like, you know, they get in their car the next morning and
then the next thing you know, you turn around and you're doing the same damn thing.
Same thing. But you can live in that truth. Like you can live in that truth that we find in the quantum. We can bring that truth into the physical and live in that truth that we find in the quantum. It's possible. All we have to do is do it.
That's what I was talking about. People get baptized and then they go out there and they tear it down the next day and they go back to church and ask for forgiveness and ask for clarity, right? So it's a different aspect there. I am guilty of it, relatives. I am dirty guilty. I'll tell you that right much. But at the same time, I have my faith and I have my belief and I think nothing's impossible. Oki Pishni.
Yeah. No, and, you know, a little bit more to add to that, like, you know, there's times when I get agitated, you know, being a father, I got 2 babies under 2, you know,
Yeah.
Hawk and Ember, and it's stressful at times, you know, and even if you do get stressed out, sometimes you just need to bring yourself back to center. That's bringing that, and that's really a lot of lessons I've been going through you know, here as of late, you know, the past couple of months, you know, just there's so much positive stuff happen and you get irritated with everyday life and, you know, stub your toe or just simple little things like that. But bringing yourself back to center is also important because the reality, I mean, we do live in the quantum. Everything that we're experiencing is divine and it is in perfect accordance, you know, but in the day-to-day, human experience, that's a different story. And we just need to come to more balance of that understanding and bring it through more. And it starts with, if you come off of balance, come back into balance. Like, use your breath. Your breath is very sacred. You know, it's the most sacred thing we have, you know, next to water, you know. And, even you can be in jail and you can still breathe air. You know, your physical self can be pinned down, but you can still breathe air as long as you're living, you know, as long as your physical self is living. But yeah, that's the balance of coming back to balance. You know, staying in balance all the time, that's not really realistic in these times, but coming back to balance from imbalance is totally doable. And cutting that time down more and more and more each time is the goal.
Well, relatives, you know, just because, you know, other people have problems, you know, with your ability or your addiction, it's okay, relatives, because they have their own as well, in one way, form, or fashion, right? God, Jesus, Takashalan, Wakantanko, whoever you want to call them, Jehovah, Yahweh, they had their little flaws too. But they never held it against anybody. No one held it against them. And why should we hold it against one another? Right? Right?
Yeah. You know, these lessons from the ceremonies, like, you know, a lot of these people listen, probably everyone that's going to listen to this, you know, this broadcast has done some type of ceremony, you know, and they come back with the truth, and it was given to you for a reason. You know, it's not a hallucination. It's for a reason. And a lot of us realize that, you know, but, they backslide just because, you know, society, that's what society is meant to do. But, you know, one of the huge truths is like the oneness thing. Like, we go in there and we understand oneness, you know, like I said, those first 15, 30 minutes after a ceremony, you understand oneness. Like, you could write a book on it, you know, in those moments. It starts fading away, but, you know, you can still remember that oneness moment when I'm sitting here looking at Jeff. Like, Jeff is another particle of me. Not that I'm God or anything, but I know that we're all just a cellular cells of a much greater consciousness. You know, we're sharing a consciousness. That's why sometimes we confess our own thoughts when we hang out. People hang out a long time, you know, couples after a few years start finishing sentences, things like that, because they're so close to their auric fields so much, sleeping, you know, day to day in the car, their auric fields are intertwined and literally start sharing the same consciousness pathway field, you know, frequency. And at times of relaxation or love or something like that, that's when it always happens, when couples, you know, are watching TV or something like that, no matter what, or hanging out or talking to friends, when they're really relaxed and not thinking about it. You know, think about what it feels like when you're in ceremony. You're not really thinking about it. It just happens, you know. You're not thinking about an anaconda coming out of the wall and like swallowing you up. It just happens.
If you've never took a medicine, it's not that bad. You don't hallucinate. You know, it's not like mushrooms or LSD. This is all natural.
Yeah.
Mother and God gave it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all natural. And you got great people to watch after you, like Drew Bankey. He's a really great guide tour, right? You know, he'll send you through all the realms and bring you back home safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been working with, Bufo various, a 5-MeO DMT here recently. It's been my main medicine, or what I've been working with. And, you know, got a lot of ceremonies coming up, but, you know, doing, end of life ceremonies for some people.
Afton just signed up for the end of life. That's where she's at right now, going down to the end of life to start learning the process. And I was like, cool, sign me up. And she was like, really? Yeah. There's a lot of people that want to see me burn.
Yeah. But, you know, it's the work that, we're doing now is just, it hits deep, you know, some of it, all of it really. You know, people come to me and, you know, I see, things that I've been through, a lot of PTSD coming to me, people that's been had problems with pills. I've had problems with pills. You know, I've been through all of it. You know, I've messed up on every scale you can imagine. So when people come to me, I can really see why they're coming to me. You know, it's not just like, having clientele or whatever coming to you. It really hits deep because I see myself in pretty much everyone that comes to me.
I hear you there, you know, and a lot of people come to you, I feel, is because they're wanting to hear what an old soul that you are in the history of your knowledge, you know, and what you have to help them out so they don't live through that mistake, Drew, you know, and it's the best thing to do is to listen to our elders and learn from their mistakes so we don't do it. This is like what Drew is saying. He's an old soul. If you ever sit up with him or hear him talk and have a deep conversation with him about a topic, that soul's going to come out. That old soul's going to come out. I'll tell you that much.
You know, I've had a very deep moment with Source, you know, not in ceremony. And, I was driving in Florida and there was, it was Ella beside me and there was a guy, behind me and he had been to ceremonies with me and he was going through trying to process some really profound visions that he had, you know. So I'm talking to him in the rearview mirror and all of a sudden as I'm looking up and driving, going through lights in downtown Fort Myers, I look up in the rearview mirror and I see myself sitting in the back seat. I was like, well, I got to pull over, like, found a parking lot really quickly and pulled over because I was transported in the back seat. I was like, well, I don't know who's driving, but I was seeing my reflection. It was weird. You know, I was just having this oneness moment. Earth started shaking, you know, and, I had stopped and there was this lady that was walking across the parking lot and I was like, and something in my mind said, I bet you can make her drop her purse. I said, drop your purse. And she dropped her purse. And everything went dark. You know, I like snapped. My mind snapped of what I was seeing. You know, it was like, cause as she was walking across it, everything looked like there was an earthquake, not the earth itself. The earth was shaking and the sky, like, I was no medicine at all. You know, it was just a conversation that was taking me into that vibration and just, because what I was telling him, I was talking about Source, you know, and I was just so deep into it, trying to channel Source through me to give him guidance, you know, because Drew didn't know what the hell to say to him. You know, I was like, all right, the grand universe, the grand consciousness needs to come through me and talk to this dude right now. You know, help him out. And when it did, it was just like, kind of took me into that moment. And I was floating through space, went up to this planet. It was glowing, this bright white star. And as I got closer to it, it looked like this big planet. As I got closer to it, it got smaller and smaller. And basically it was like the size of a beach ball in front of me, just glowing. But it was like, talk to me telepathically and pulse as it glowed. And, so you know who I am? I was like, of course, you know, it was like when I was there, it was like, there was overwhelming truth of what it was, you know. It was like the source of all creation, you know, whatever. I was way past the deities of God and angel realm and all that. I was at the center of the consciousness.
So you live down in Mount Blanca, right?
Yeah. Not inside Mount Blanca.
Not inside?
Not inside. Not inside.
Underneath?
No. Just south of it.
Just south of it?
Yeah.
Just south of Mount Blanca. Not underneath, not in it. So, a lot of UFO activities, right?
Maybe I do.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe he's a skin shifter or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But so you get a lot of UFOs out there, huh? Just like we do here in Crestone.
Yeah.
Obviously.
That's the valley.
So we have this video that you captured here, UFO over Mount Blanca in the southern Colorado.
Yeah. So the story behind this is, you know, I gotta lead you up to this. So I was in my podcast studio doing a interview for another station, and it started it's late night, you know, it started like 10, 11 o'clock. It goes to it started 11 o'clock, goes till 2. So a 3-hour interview going to 2 o'clock. So it was over at 2 o'clock. cameras, we stopped recording everything of that podcast, and I was looking at my phone, and I told her, I was like, oh man, the host of this show, I was like, oh, we just did this exactly a year ago that we did a show. It's like, that's odd. We didn't plan to do an anniversary show of the show I was on her show a year ago. It just happened. And we're talking after that. And after I said that, I looked up at my clock. I got a clock up on my radio. It said 2:22. I was like, I got to go. I got to walk outside. I was like, there's probably going to be a UFO, waiting for me out there, just joking with her. And I cut off everything and walked outside. And my office is above the barn. I can't say too much more about it until after the 19th. But my office is above the barn. And so I'm walking from there going inside, and I looked over at Blanca and see my first light just over on the eastern face of Mount Blanca. And watching it for a little bit, another one showed up, and then eventually another one. One time there was over 6 crafts. I'm not going to say crafts. There was 6 unidentified lights that I don't know that was doing maneuvers around each other at one time. And this event lasted over an hour. And it was to a point where it was still going on, and I got cold. I went inside and tried to go to sleep and laid down, and got up 15 minutes later, went back outside and filmed more. So this is 11-minute compilation of that over hour incident. And
what you see here, they're just lights of the city right here?
That's a farm. Yeah,
that's a farm.
Yeah, that's a potato farm.
So it's up above is what you're looking for, above all those lights.
Yeah.
And you can actually see it there, a couple of them. It's not a smut on your screen, guys. It's actually, lights that we see around here in the San Luis Valley, Mount Blanca. We see that all the time over in Gardner.
Yeah, you see there's another one above it. There's 2 or 3 right there below it, and then another one above it appeared. Yeah, and that's the daytime view from that same. So that's a potato farm right there. You see in that.
I think they're after your potatoes, bro.
I think they're, that's at C5 and, the Stephen Greer and all that stuff. It's, and when you see ships, it's about consciousness. I've seen plenty of ships down there when I was practicing music, for getting ready for ceremonies or something like that, pulling a drum out or, pulling the flute out or harmonica or something like that. And practicing songs or getting ready, see ships or see lights. So things that happen that are unexplainable all the time.
The things I was taught with the Native American way after 20-something years of following and practicing and getting my head out of my ass, right? They teach us when we sing our songs, it calls our elders, our old ones in, right? Mm-hmm. And when those old ones come and then they know who you are, they know who you are because you sing these songs. And then they know right about before you're about to sing them. And so you start to see them. And you can see this in old petroglyphs, right? Mm-hmm. In our old history, on rocks, Sure. You've been there.
Sure.
And then these things are trying to tell us that maybe they're God. You think in a way they're our ancestors or...
Yeah, they're
because as soon as you start singing a song, man, they come. These songs are not just any song. It's not a radio song. These are songs that are passed down from generation to generation through decades. It's
a technology. It's a technology. When you get down to it, especially, I think this is Orion. Yeah, that's just Orion. But. Just Orion.
Yeah, that's what it says. Orion.
We could do a whole series on Orion and Egypt and all that. But getting back to that source moment, you can read more about it, or I've talked about it on plenty of other shows. But I had that source moment. Went to the throne room, realized why I was there. realized while nobody was there, realized that everything was perfect. And, had a few choices of things I could, reincarnate in, or incarnate in. I guess it wouldn't be a reincarnate, it's just incarnate back into. And, come down to what I chose was coming back to Drew, but with that understanding very crystal clear at all times and a way to articulate it. That was like my soul contract when I come back from, that oneness moment in 2018. And, it's just profoundly changed my path in life, just that one moment. And that's without any medicine or anything. The awakening moment, enlightening moment is possible without, medicines. It does happen. I guess when the time is right and when everything aligns, but, definitely. And it's a byproduct, seeing the ships and UFOs and stuff like that. It's a byproduct of having expanded consciousness, really, because I 100% totally believe my stance is, ET is us, past, present, and future, all on the same. We're living in this weird idea of linear timelines and things like that. But, people, you can't even say like this is our future self. It's because it's our past self too, because it's not linear. It's very, it's all over pace. It's very, if you look at, I've been to so many different petroglyph sites, and what you see in a lot of them is the Fibonacci sequence, the spiral.
Yeah.
And that's, Reiki healers, people that, and I'm speaking to a lot of people that's kind of people that have pendulums and things like that, hold over their hand and realize the meridian point in their hands, and then realize the meridian points in their feet, and they start making their connection to Jesus. And that's, it's not, you're not Jesus, but because Jesus was a moment in time, that you can connect to that vibration of Jesus. I've had visions of being on the cross. I've had dreams of being on the cross and being crucified and stuff like that. And that's how I realized of the deeper meaning of the crucifixion, of why they crucified in the way they did, was trying to block the meridian points in the hands, the feet, and cover up the crown chakra. They understand, they were scared of his energy, and they started to understand his energy.
That's the reason why judges wear those freaking wigs, is to hide from from God. And then they put that little thing up over their bleacher, is to hide from God.
Yeah.
Right? In those robes and the whole 9 yards. Yeah. I've been having dreams here lately, bro, about, not lately, the last, 3 years now, of flying. Like straight up vivid dreams. And I can go off and go fly above someone's house and then turn around and call them the next morning and be like, hey, you got a roof leak. It's about to happen. Oh, my roof was just done. And the next thing you know, the roof leaks, right? But here lately, I've been flying with the Nephilims, the big giants, right? And they're walking, and I'm flying with them. And I'm trying to interpret this in my everyday life, and how can I pull this out, right? What do I do? Because those dreams, they get so vivid, and it's so clear.
Yeah, that's a part of you, and that's, our ET brothers that are visiting, a lot of these lights in the sky is not physical craft. It's a consciousness that's saying, okay, I need to. Drew needs a moment here where, he comes back and comes back to a really high vibration. So when I seen those craft like that, witnessing those craft above Blanca, that was a huge ceremony for me. My vibration really rose, because it was like, I knew after a while it was not anything that we had. I knew exactly what it was, because it was a feeling that I was connecting with, and that's ultimately when we see these crafts and things like that, they're another particle of ourself. When we see a light, when we see a craft, we see a craft with a pilot. The pilot in that craft is another of past, present, and future self of you. It's another part of you that's coming back and showing you, raising your vibration, expanding your boundaries of thought. So I would say to interpret, lots of times our dreams are the most simple form or the most simple interpretation. And I would say that you're trying to tell yourself to release your boundaries more of what you're capable of.
Wow. Hey, that's some thought. let me take some medicine. Let me get back to you tomorrow. I'll take 2 of those and call you in the morning. Sorry. But so you just did a documentary on home rescue with, what were those people's names? Or
so it's Marty Rainey, Matt Rainey, and Misty Rainey. Those are the 3 main characters, and that's Marty is the father, and they started this show, back in 2016. I was looking at it the other day and just looking at patterns, like 2016 when I first drank ayahuasca, the show started off, and it's both of these things have been going their own path for a while, and they come back together into this moment.
So how did you get in touch with these guys? How did this all inspire?
So we're just watching the show, just like a lot of people, this is it's another number, another whisper of the universe is we put in for the show for like 2 years. We put in watching the show at the end of almost every episode. They say if you have a homestead in need or a farm in need or something like that, reach out, and there's you start going through this process basically. So. It's like a form. You start off with a form and basically and send them some pictures and videos and things like that. And people will call you back or they won't call you back. And we started going through it the first time, back in pretty soon after we moved down to Blanca. Because there was so much to do there. There was so much there was no solar, no water, there was no water in the house, no well, there's just all types of stuff needed done.
So did you have to pay for them to come out, or?
No. So what we put in for it the first year, we got through we didn't even get maybe one interview we got to, the first Zoom interview, and after that we didn't get call back. So, we just kind of gave up and just said, okay, we're just going to do it, as we can. And we just kept working at our house. We built a greenhouse on the back. I put in solar, wired the house, and it was hauling water. So we hauled water for over almost 2 or 3 years there. And it was a lot of work, and finally got the property to the point where we could take a loan back against it because we had already paid it off. And so we took a loan back against it and then got the well, and, had plumbing and everything. Now we have washer and dryer, just as a normal house. It's all off grid, but it's a normal house. And, we're watching the show, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, should I put back in for it again? And about that time, we got an email from them. They invited us to reapply. So we reapplied and started the process over again. And just one interview led to another. We kept moving up the food chain until we were talking to the main producers from Discovery Channel and doing interviews. We were having people come out to the house and scout the house and talk to us and start to actually take interviews with us and stuff at the house. And we weren't confirmed, and then all of a sudden we got a call. I think it was March of this year. They're like, we'll be there. We'll be there in April. We'll be there in a month, exactly 30 days. So they come and started. They showed up on April 10th, and my birthday is April 11th. So they were there on my birthday. So there's so many things the universe was just
keying in,
really keying in and showing me this is something much bigger. And there's something much deeper going on. And yeah, it's just, an amazing birthday present, have them show up and do all the work that they did. And, you get to see it next weekend. So
next weekend on Discovery.
Yeah. Next weekend on Discovery. And, so I asked them what season it was going to be. And they was like, oh, this is going to be on season 11. I was like, Of course it's one.
Yeah.
And then it's the first episode, so it's one. So, and my son's birthday, Hawk, is 1/11 of 2022. So, if you hear numbers,
you have to pay attention.
Yeah.
You have to start paying attention. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that's, you'll see on the show, we got to definitely, we talked about mental health on the show and stuff like that. So,
during the construction build, you talk about mental health.
Yeah. And I'm not releasing anything that's not known. Like you can hear on the interview, me talking to Marty about being a suicide survivor and now like having a church and stuff, so, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and, anyone out there struggling that may be listening to this in this moment that may need to hear this, like, if you're going through a hard time in the moment, like it's all it is. It's in the moment, because a year, 2 years from now, there's a good chance, even if it's a horrific thing, like you get in a car accident or break a leg or something, like in that moment, you're like, I'll never forget this. Like I will always live in this truth. A year or two later, you forgot you even broke your leg, so the moment is just a moment, and that's, living in the moment. That's a huge part of manifestation, like that I've learned. Gratitude is a huge thing. That's Marty. He's a great guy. That's my horse Atlas. And, we went through about 30 pounds of carrots and like 6 heads of lettuce trying to get that shot. Like they've 8 pounds and pounds of vegetables at that point trying to get that perfect shot. Like he would like take his hat at sometimes and like do all kinds of stuff. So
you suckered right into Atlas, boy. It's like, yeah, keep feeding me. I ain't gonna give you your shot. The horses ain't dumb, man. The Chihuahuacans, they got it. They know what's up.
Yeah, that's my boy Atlas. But everything that you see, like other than in the commercials and stuff, that commercial, like obviously they brought out a shipping container. At least one.
So this, you didn't build out of a shipping container, did you? Did you build off of it?
Have to wait.
You'll have to wait and find out, relatives, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been doing that. I just built a roof down in Conejos County on top of those water cistern tanks, right? They got the metal cages around them.
Yeah.
There was 2 stacked on top, 3 long, right? And then another 3 on the front, but they were spaced out like every 16 feet. Big logs and big beams, man. It's R&R, recycle, reuse, and we had to do that before all those building codes came up.
Wow, yeah.
Right? So we had to get that done and finalized so we can get grandfathered into the old building codes, right? So I was wondering, did you get any hassle with building codes down there or anything?
Yeah, that's
a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. I'll just say that the people at Castillo County, zoning and all that, they've talked to people in LA.
That's right, they do.
There's been a lot of conversation between Discovery Channel and
Yeah. So the Discovery Channel probably like cracked the whip and just like, hey, calm down,
I don't know. I can't really get into it. It's something that's going on. It's not even over yet, but yeah, it's a big build. That's not the only build. There was other builds that they did. There's amazing things that happened. So, and it's some emotional conversations between me and Marty, and Ella and Misty. Ella and Misty worked on had their project, and my stepdaughter, Ella's daughter, Alyssa, she worked with Matt. So, and I work with Marty. So that's normally how it works out. The basic pattern of the show. So I'm not saying anything new. It's usually the guy, the husband of the household, works with Marty. A child, whoever the child is, and the mother works with Misty. So,
wow.
And that's how it was. That they're, if you're listening to it, the questions that always comes up, like, I don't know if Marty's bald. Like, I never got to see him with his hat off. the family is a genuine family. Like, they're real. Like, they are real people.
From Alaska.
From Alaska. They've, been doing this since 2016. Marty's been on other shows before that. That's how he got his start with Discovery. He was doing like Alaska wilderness survival shows and stuff like that, but I forgot the name of it. Sorry, Marty, if you're listening to this, bro. But they are super great people. I'm still very much friends with Marty. We talk very regularly, and he's an amazing person. I've sent him progress of everything, and I'll be sharing progress of the bills and everything soon after the airing. I'll be in Florida when it airs. Speaking at it's weird how that all works out too. I might be at Zen speaking at noon, and that evening is the airing. So that whole day is going to be like, just a weird feel, high vibe time, but that's the times that we're in right now. We're in these times, and it could be the end times, or it could be, the new times. It's all up to you, the perception of how it is.
You got to flow with it. If you don't flow with it, then it's just going to eat you.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to come out to be the end times. That's for sure.
Are we going to see waters rise? Probably. Are we going to see other natural disasters more and more? Yeah. Are we going to see more wars? Yeah. I've, when we first moved out in this valley, me and Ella moved here to Crestone, back in 2018 or so. Spent a couple of years here. But when we moved out here, it was, like most people from Crestone, it's, you had a dream to get here, and you come here, and it felt right, and had an experience, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. They were the same way. And, it was very hard when we found our place down in Blanca to leave Crestone, but, basically, I started asking the Spirit when I got down to Blanca. I was like, why are we here? Why are we away from our community? That we love so much, and we got so ingrained with so quickly.
You grow in the community.
Yeah, growing in the, grow with the community. And why can't we be there? It's like, well, we can still be part of that community. Our that's another lesson. Our physical selves are down in Blanca, but we're still part of this community here very deeply. And one of the deeper messages was telling me that the reason why a lot of us are here in this elevated valley is because this may be our island one day, and I think maybe one day in our life, this will be our island, this elevated sacred valley, and I think, that's a lot of the reason why a lot of us are here, and why we're going through, this grad school. This is not community college here. This is grad school for spiritual expansion, on many different levels. There's vortex energy here, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what the answer is, but it's here, and all of us know it, feel it, not only in Crestone, but in this valley.
Yeah, you never feel that energy like you do here. The Mother Mountain will tell you, she'll tell you, and people brought here, I've seen people brought here to the San Luis Valley, and they're here for 5 minutes and they can't stand it and they got to get the hell out. Mother Mountain's kicking them out, right? It's the wrong mix, right? But there's people here, like myself, 26 years. I can't leave. I try to leave. And the next thing you know, like a week, 2 weeks later at the most, I'm back here going, thank God I made it home safe. Yeah. It's definitely a unique place, brother. Definitely a unique place.
Yeah. I don't know what, the answer. I don't have that answer, but I know there's something about it. It's, and circling back through these conversations, that's what Homestead Rescue kind of, the deep message that I got from that, like a few months before Homestead Rescue call and confirmed we had our house on the market, and it wasn't on the market very long, and we was getting ready to sell it, and looking at trying to find property here, putting a down payment from our properity there, to be able to come back here to Crestone.
I remember that. You're telling me that you guys were going to move. Yeah, back here.
Yeah, right after that, it was when everything started falling into place, and when Homestead Rescue come, it was like, okay, like, just walked outside and looked up. I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm here. Like, we're here. Like,
so did you guys do an add-on, or did you build another unit.
You have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait. Boy, he's just a teaser, isn't he? Just a teaser, man. I mean, I'll have to wait until next weekend to go to Florida to go see this speech he's talking about next week. I mean, he's always putting you on wait, hold, man.
Yeah, I waited. Me and Ella waited almost 7 months from the filming until they announced the season, and now they gave us the go ahead and to start advertising that we were going to be on this next season. But we didn't know we were going to be on the season premiere. We didn't know it was going to be 2 hours or anything. We didn't know anything about that until
Yeah, so you're sort of on a gag order in a way until it all gets released, and then you can talk about it and show it and share it.
Yeah, we couldn't talk about it to anybody. There's a few people that knew about that we were on the show before, but
I saw Sean was over there helping you guys out. Sean, yeah.
Yep, Sean come down and help us. Another one of my neighbors come in and helped, and it's I got very emotional. You can see it on the.
I saw that.
You can see it on the commercial. Like that. That was like one of the last when they were getting ready to leave, and they asked me like what it meant, like what all this meant. Like, so, yeah, but it was it's cool. You guys should check it out. It's gonna be good, and it's gonna be definitely a conversation about mental health.
So did you guys actually just build and talk about this, or did you guys sit down after hours and talk about mental health and stuff like that?
No, we would talk about some of the builds. We'd be like, okay, what's your plans for this or whatever, and we would share kind of what we do, or having people come out and stay with us and stuff like that, and then we talk about future plans, and basically I told him it's gonna help people. It's not only helping us, it's gonna help other people. And I really look at them as angels in a way, or messengers, or hands of God, really, or messengers of source, because it's very clear that we're supposed to stay here in this valley, and at least base sacred journeys in this valley. There's going to be other locations soon in Colorado, but definitely keeping our property here. And how could I get rid of the property after Homestead Rescue comes to your property? It's just it'd be really
that's
hard.
golden. You can't do it. It's too many memories now. The price tag's too big now for anybody to buy it, right?
Yeah, it's just too much sentimental. Even before that, it was too much sentimental. I was wrapped up in it. It was just we'd done tons of work before.
Yep.
There's
itty bitty little A-frame in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
With all that wind.
Yeah, the name of the episode is "Where the Wild Wind Blows," and
where the wild wind blows. Oh yeah,
we had some big builds out there, and doing it in high wind it's interesting. There's some interesting things that happen. You should tune in. There's a reason why our episode is the season premiere. So trust me, just tune in. Marty's a funny guy. That's how windy it was. It was playing the harmonica.
Yeah, you can hear that.
8,400 feet high.
He's a cool cat, man. He's walking around with a harmonica in his pocket,
He's great, dude.
That's what's up right there. So how many ceremonies do you guys have? How long did this take? I mean, did you guys work for a week and then have a one night off ceremony? Did you guys really tune in that way too?
No, I wish I would. Having ceremonies with the Rainies.
Yeah, with with
No, I wish they could have stayed and done that. And we were supposed to jam at the end of it, and a storm come in at the end, so they had to leave early. So, but we're gonna do like a jam session at the end because Marty, he travels with instruments everywhere. In like the Tool trailer that follows them around to everything. It's a process having the film crew out there. Our day would start every day about 8:30 in the morning. They would come and fly the drone and
extra people to cook for.
Yeah. Well, they catered to a place in Alamosa, so they would actually bring it out and deliver. The catering place to bring it out.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's just
they weren't underneath your foot,
No, it was while we were filming, there was people like at any given time, like I could say I need a water. I couldn't even get it out of my mouth to be like I need a water or need coffee or something like that, and someone would be literally sprinting to go get it, and do it having that, and then for it was 9 days total that they were there. I think 9 days building, 7 days filming that they were there. So yeah, but having that having that guy there during all the filming. Because they didn't want me going anywhere, especially me and Ella, because they were doing a lot of footage.
Yeah.
So, there's what you're going to see on the show is, a 2-hour show. You're probably going to see, maybe a little bit over an hour of footage of us. But there's a lot of footage that they took, but yeah, we went through every season imaginable there. It was blistering hot. It was snowing at the end and windy, and it was all the in between. So it's an interesting episode. And I asked them, to in the post production when they were talking to us about, and the producers were talking to us and asking about what do we want to focus on, what's our what do we want to really get across. And it's I want to open up the conversation of suicide, and not have it be such a sharp word that where we don't talk about it anymore, because the only way that we're going to battle this demon is to talk about it and bring it out into the open and bring it out of the shadows. But we're gonna have to say the word. We're gonna have to be able to say the word without everyone shutting down, and bring up the conversation of mental health, and I think I haven't seen the episode yet, but I think you're going to see a lot of that. So,
wow. Well, there's a lot into editing, and there's a lot into what Drew Bankey just did with House Rescue, right?
Yeah, Homestead Rescue.
A Homestead Rescue. Thank you very much. Yep. Thank you, Drew. There's a lot that goes into it, so I hope you all look into it, help support Drew Bankey, his family, and his 2 new beautiful little babies. Mm-hmm. Yeah, God bless. It's one hell of a journey. I had a little fight for a little hawk, and then hawk, you can't stop him now.
You can't hold him down. He's going on 2, but he's going on 30. I got my 2 oldest kids in Georgia. My oldest just turned 20 in September. My oldest daughter and my oldest son just turned 18 in October. So, yeah, it's just, and they're doing beautiful things. My oldest daughter, she's a CNA and she's working towards being a nurse. And, my mother, Lynn Bankey, was a nurse, God rest her soul. And, she was a beautiful person, just a beautiful angel for a lot of people. And, just seeing my daughter going down that same path, and her heart and everything. It's just amazing. I'm just, and that's probably the biggest ceremony and what I'm doing in my life is raising this next generation. And my 2 oldest children, I wish I was at a higher vibration when they were younger, so I could mold them, help them understand things a little more. But I'm not going to waste the opportunity with the 2 younger ones, Ember and Hawk. But everyone's on their path and everything, and this happens for its own reason. And, I'm just, right now I'm about raising consciously aware children, whether it be, my 20-year-old or teenager or my toddler or, any of them.
Or someone else's kid.
Or someone else's kid, it's, cause this information, there's been too much shaman secrets and medicine man secrets and stuff like this, for way too long. Now, this is cause it belongs to all of us, the technology of cooking ayahuasca and singing to the ayahuasca as it cooks and singing those same songs and ceremonies and opening up those intentions that you had when you sung to the medicine, pre-charging that medicine with that vibration and those songs. These are simple shamanic, tricks of the trade that people haven't shared for so long because they didn't want to lose business or lose energy or power. But I think when we share it with the rest of creation, I think that's when we gain power,
That's right. Your air is your breath and your fire is your blood,
Yeah.
I mean, water is your blood, right? So, let's let it all sing out,
Think about this.
Think about
It's the blood in our bodies right now. Could have been in a T-Rex piss from, 26 million years ago or whatever, It could be the blood that we have in us we could share with the particles, the molecules of the water, that same molecules we might share with Crazy Horse. I'm sure there's a lot of us in this valley in Crestone that share that connection, whether it be in vision, through molecular connection, genetic connection, through to Crazy Horse and all these prophetic things that talked about, what we're in right now, what we're here in this Crestone, in this valley. This is more than just a magical place to stay. It's a movement. It's what I was showed that this valley and area, in one of my visions, was one of 5 places on this planet that will be a huge tribe. Basically, we'll have 5 huge tribes, and there'll be in certain parts of the earth, but this is one of them. This is one of the things that I was shown, and that's my own personal visions and dreams, and still interpreting it. And that was years ago. So,
But anyways, thank you there, Drew Bankey, for coming out and talking with us today. We really appreciate having you here.
it's been my pleasure. Send my love to the Crestone family, everyone that we know, everyone that we don't know, old ones, new ones, people just visiting. It's a blessing being here in this valley. It's always a blessing being here in Crestone and being in a presence of true family, true medicine family. And I appreciate you, Jeff, everything that you're doing. Just want to bless your work and bless this, podcast station, radio, and everything, and for moving forward and help get a message out. Because we're in this together. Now's the time to start sharing your story. Sharing your truths. The time that old stuff that tells us that's our visions are not supposed to be shared and all that. I don't believe that. I think the exact opposite is true. I think we're supposed to share our visions, because the next person might need that little puzzle piece,
That little piece of medicine, that little puzzle piece
that you were able to bring back.
Yeah. And they want to shut you up, silencing you. And we don't speak our visions, our truths, then no one's going to hear it. No one's going to care. And we're just going to be walking around just dumbfounded, it's lost, completely lost.
When this all started, I never thought Sacred Journeys would be to the point of bringing on the investor that we're about to bring on and the expansion that we're about to go through. I never thought I would even serve medicine, at the beginning when I was showed my true path. But if you showed your true path and it's, it through your discernment, it's your higher self or whatever that positive higher self speaking. If you know for sure it's that, go for it, and speak it. You got to speak it into existence. I spoke Sacred Journeys into existence. I spoke us being on, Homestead Rescue, about to have 3.5 million people see our faces in a couple of days at one time, globally. So the exposure for our church and everything on top of that is just another byproduct that I see as just the hand of God working through us and helping bring us up. And now's the time.
So that brings me to my next question. How do people get a hold of you?
SacredJourneysWithin.com. Journeys is spelled with IES. And our Facebook, you can Google me. I don't mean to be like that, but you can just type in Google and my name and you can find several different ways, Instagram, any of them. I'm on all the socials and I'm pretty easy to find. So,
right on. Well, don't forget to look up I Am Perfect and So Are You and Find Your Inner Guru by Drew Bankey. And I want to say a special thanks to his wife, Ella. Doing a great job. Keep it up. Don't stop. You're doing a great job. I love you, sister.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it without her. I some of the things, when I'm speaking to the choir, if I'm speaking to this genre that I'm talking to right now on the radio station, but where you go through crazy times and experiences and being involved in ceremonies and stuff like that, and the expansion to where I'm at right now has been an arduous task to say the least, and I couldn't have done it without my wife being beside me and let me know every now and then that it's not time to go to the hospital. It's not time to check yourself in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to go a little deeper. My wife has been there. She's been that hardcore person to be like, now's the time to lean into it instead of leaning away from it. And it's lots of times it's the right, it's what I need to hear in that moment. So I'm to a lot of people, I'm a channel of source, and she's my channel when I need to hear it fed back to me. So I definitely recognize that. And I love you, Ella. And she's taking care of that baby, the new Ember, and Ember's almost going on 6 months now and hasn't ate anything except for what Ella's produced, and that's just amazing, I think.
That's love right there. It's nothing but true love.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Mr. Bankey, we love you. Thank you for having us, having you on. Thanks for coming over. And everybody just pay attention to this Homestead Rescue on Discovery. Check that out with Drew Bankey and his family and what they've done to uplift their church. Well, not their church, your church, because it belongs to everybody. And we're not holding anything secret anymore. We're going to be bringing out all this knowledge. And a great man to do that with is no other than Drew Bankey and his wife, Ella Bankey. All right. So anyways, that brings us to the end of our show today. I would just like to say thank you for joining us with Drew Bankey on CPR, Crestone Podcast Radio. Until next time, we love you. Stay true, stay focused, and we love you.